back. What a
It was especially when they were starting out in the 90s. Cool. Welcome to a new episode of Football Theory with your hosts, Ivan Sanchez, and also with me, my boy Guti. What's up, Guti?
Hey man, I'm doing good. I hope all is well. Week 2 of Copa Oro. Let's go.
Oh, week 2 Copa Oro, that's right. And the day of recording, we got game day for Mexico. Quickly, I don't know how quickly actually. We're going to touch back on the opening game Saturday night, 0-0 draw against Trinidad and Tobago. And honestly, just if you want to talk about everything that could have gone wrong, both on the field, outside the field, for the team, for the tournament, it all kind of manifested itself into this match with that 0-0 draw. Quickly, what were your thoughts? Because not quickly again, but because there's got a lot to get into. But what do you feel after that match? What did you feel after that match?
Well, on the soccer end first, like on the field first, so many questions, right? Now we're starting to like panic, right? A little bit. I told you my friend called it. Shout out to him, Alonso. He listens to the show. He really said, "Yeah, I think there's a Chepo moment coming here, right? Where I don't know. He called it. I don't know. He says at the exact same time, like the timing's right before the World Cup. Things are starting to fall apart. We do have 2 bad results back to back as far as like official games. So I would say, I'm not happy. I'm not pleased, right? Every time Mexico doesn't win, I don't sleep right for sure. And my wife knew I was pretty mad that day. So on the soccer end, that's that. And then outside the field, I'm not going to justify like behaviors, but I do know that the fans, I think they did their best to a certain point, and then they got to a point where they just let it go. They just gave up. They said they didn't care anymore at that point. So they got to do better, But I think it's going to continue to happen until they do something else. So.
Yeah, on the field, it was I think what everybody wanted from this tournament was, all right, nobody get hurt. And then in the first half, probably our best player, our most like Chucky Lozano gets hurt. Then we dominate in terms of shots, dominate in terms of possession, couldn't get anything. And we end up in a 0-0 frustrating loss or a tie that feels like a loss. You have the ref who kind of seems to not have any control or idea of what's going on in the game. VAR they just seem not to know what to do with VAR, and it kind of this thing that kind of keeps manifesting itself into a result that, just a really bad result on the field. I'm not taking it as hard as you are because the dominance was there. I think if they call that PK early and they score the goal, the game opens up a lot more.
Yeah, they should have scored. In the first 15 minutes, Mexico could have scored 2-3 goals. And I think you hit it right now. I sorry to interrupt you, but I think definitely when Chucky got injured, and I don't think that was the mala leche. I don't think that was on purpose, like to injure him. I do think it was a push, and then it was a bad collision. But just like that happening, and the referee I think there was another play too that where it could have been a foul or a PK, and the referee kind of just like whatever, like all in the first 15 minutes, players were kind of just like, what the heck, dude? Like that part right there, and I think they just couldn't get over the fact they didn't know how Chucky was doing. Right? They didn't know like his status. No one was telling them. So, because we didn't know. So I know they didn't know on the field. So that kind of had to mess with them mentally for sure.
Absolutely. And we're coming off of where we just saw in Europe where a player had a traumatic injury.
Yeah.
And the reaction from the ref to the players to everything was so quick. Here you saw kind of like a ref didn't know what to do. They waited a long time to attend to Chucky, which is quite scary.
Right.
When we think about what we just saw earlier this summer, I think that's one thing. And then just having no control. I'm with you that it wasn't a malicious foul on purpose. Like he shoved him, and then there was a collision after with the goalkeeper. But it wasn't that wasn't a purposeful. That wasn't their goal to hurt him. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think so.
I just happened to do that. With this isn't the first time we've drawn an early game in the tournament. 2015 when we beat Jamaica in the finals. I think they also drew against Trinidad and Tobago in the group stage. And in that game,
they're a tough team. They're a tough team, and we both named it that. I think we talked about it last week that I think they were the toughest one in the group. I know they just qualified because of like whatever circumstance they were in, but bro, they were the toughest team in the group going in, physically. I think.
Yeah, I mean, you got a team that was also in the Hex last World Cup cycle. They've frustrated Mexico in the past. 2000, they were in the last phase of World Cup qualifying, so they have some merit to them.
You can
You know what
ask
I
you
mean?
can ask Bruce Arenas how he feels about Trinidad and Tobago. You know what I mean? You can ask the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
team about that. You can ask Pulisic how he feels about that too.
But there are times where just the players aren't being protected, which I think is the most frustrating part. That it does. That's, as a fan, it doesn't feel like the players are being properly protected by these refs. They have things that are supposed to be in place to protect them, to help them, the refs as well, with VAR, that aren't being utilized in a proper way. We just saw a tournament in the Euros where VAR was used exceptionally well, and here just and we kind of saw a little bit in the Nations League where they don't seem to understand what they're doing with it. So now for Mexico, they play tonight. They're recording against Guatemala. No Chucky has been sent back, which I think is the best for everybody.
Dude, Napoli. I tweeted that Napoli sent the WhatsApp message faster than he got to the hospital. Like, hey, he's coming back. Like, he's not playing the rest of this tournament, bro.
He's going to be gone for. I think he's going to miss preseason, 6 weeks more or less. But yeah, now Mexico has a problem where they're kind of thin up top now. I don't believe being called in, who's a little hurt. Chicharito not being called up. He's hurt anyway. So really, that at least for Tata, he saves himself that part. Is that
You're like, hey, he's hurt. I told you. I can't call him up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now you're gonna have him. Now he's gonna have to do some more adjusting. He's gonna actually have to coach a little bit, maybe change the formation a little bit, change what they do and how they do it. Play more of a 4-4-2, something like that. Change up how they attack, because they're not going to have as many people with the personnel they have. It doesn't seem that they're going to have those 3 forwards up top like they usually have. They're going to have to move things around a little bit.
It can't just slide over Orbelin and play in that right spot.
Yeah, but I think Orbelin isn't. He doesn't play as much in the forefront. You know what I mean? He likes to play between.
I know. He likes playing
back a little bit, see the ball.
Hey,
more.
this is Antuna time, man. I know he's not there. I know he's in Tokyo, but this is Antuna time right here, man. Like, this is it. He's the Copa Oro king, man.
I mean, I think there is a spot for if they need to play somewhere. I think that was a rough game for him to come into, especially the way Trinidad was playing with that physicality and the fouls and just kind of dirty too. So that was always going to be a rough game for him to come in and make an impact, especially after he just, he's an 18-year-old. He just saw probably somebody he looks up to, somebody he has spent time now with, and who's probably looked for as mentorship, getting stretched off the field. So that was never going to be easy for him to come in that circumstances. But for Mexico now, yeah, they changed they're thin up top. Fútbol, I think, becomes even more important up top for them now. And now it's time for these other guys to step up.
Dude, and like I said, I didn't take it that hard. I just don't get. I'm not happy when they don't win, anyways, in any game. But I do also know, like, okay, Mexico played way better. You know what I mean? They played way better, and they didn't lose. First of all, they didn't lose, so we need to come down a little bit on that one. I can come down a little bit. Funes Mori scored. I thought a goal that should have been, it was onside, and that's the kind of game where, like, you literally needed one goal and the floodgates open up. It's one of those typical Mexico games against anybody in CONCACAF, or besides USA, or Costa Rica, but everyone else, usually, like, you play a lower ranking team like that, it takes a while. It takes a while for Mexico to break that bust down, and they finally get through there. And the next thing you know, like in injury time, they scored 3 goals or something. So it was going to be one of those games. So I am upset though. I'm upset that, like, Tata, I know he wasn't in the bench, but I was upset. Like, now I'm starting to see, like, he just does not change it up ever. Like, it's going to be the same subs for the same, like, man for man kind of subbing, and the strategy is like, okay, bro, they're all like 6 foot tall in the back, right? They got like 5 backs, and they got another block in front of them. It's like, why do you want to just keep playing through Herrera, right to left, crossing it? Like that, I don't think that was the game for that. It was the game for Tecatito to go into the box and try to get fouled or something. I know, obviously, they didn't call the fouls, but, like, going into the box, and that one where he almost scored, right? He almost, like, he crossed the dude and he almost tapped it in. That's the kind of, like, goal that we needed to, like, open up the gates, because, like, it's like, take these guys one-on-one, man. Take these guys one-on-one. But I think after you saw the Chucky foul and they saw they weren't calling fouls, I think guys mentally were like, bro, I got a career to like respect, and not trying to be like totally discriminatory against Trinidad and Tobago. But yesterday, the coach came out and he talked about, like, oh, we've never been dirty players. We don't play like that. I don't know if you saw it, but the Trinidad and Tobago coach had a statement, and I'm like, hey, I'm all for it. I believe it. But you could ask Cuauhtémoc Blanco how he feels about that one. You know what I mean? So there is history of, like, not like, I don't want to say like end careers, but there's been like just como how we say in Mexico, bien rudo, just over, I don't know, over just what are they, unnecessary roughness, pretty much, I think. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree with you. I think when when worst comes to worst, or you need to make that foul outside the box last second, the foul's going to be made, and it's going to be hard, and you're going to feel it. You know what I mean? And it's not just Trinidad and Tobago; it's other teams as well that do
yeah,
this when they play against Mexico. And so, I mean, I'm expecting a win for against Guatemala. Guatemala needs a result, so I think it lends for Mexico to have more opportunities. I think.
yeah.
So I expect a Mexico win today, day of recording. So then that'll lead to the last game of the group on Sunday against El Salvador, which I think will be a little more tougher, but I think they'll also kind of start getting a little bit of rhythm, and they're gonna get going a little bit. It is a group stage. As much as we want them to roll right out of the gate and get these wins, the fortunately in this type of setting, you don't have to right away, and this allows them to kind of get things going, and they're going to feel themselves out. They got away from they've at least got a point off a very frustrating match, and against a very team that's going to frustrate them a lot. It's going to be interesting to see Trinidad and Tobago against El Salvador. I think that makes for an interesting clash of styles. So I think that'll tell a lot about both teams when we judge them later going on. But for Mexico, I think I'm still optimistic for them moving forward in the group stage and getting the results they need, as long as we avoid kind of injuries.
They're gonna win. I mean, they still excuses or not. I mean, Chucky, yeah, he's the best player in the Copa, and he was playing his first and last game ever he's ever gonna play Copa Oro for sure. But you know, we have the Mexico still has a squad to win the whole thing. I mean, we need to calm down. Like you just got to you're going to get out the group, and then whoever you face, it's going to be a tougher game because it's going to be, a elimination game. But I think Mexico still has the team to win, and they still are the team to win. So I do think everyone was going bananas, like, oh, what's going on with like our players going to come back? Mexico shouldn't play in the Copa Oro. It's like, okay, we need to stop with that because that is the Copa that we have to play in. There's like no other Copa to play in, right? We're not playing we're not playing Euros. We're not playing in the, African Nations Cup. We can't, right? We're playing in our confederation. So that's number one. I think people need to I think a lot of people in the media were also saying, like that the fouls were kind of dirty. I don't want to say it in this game. I don't think it was dirty. I think it was a bad collision. I think the referees have always been subpar. And we talked about it before, and I said it all the time. If Mexico plays and USA is playing, then you're going to get referees that are now in a league that you have no idea about. And we could say the Costa Rica League is okay, as far as probably the third best league, right, in CONCACAF. But after that, dude, I mean, the referees don't have the experience because they're refereeing in their country. And no disrespect to the country, but the league is not as demanding as, like a Liga MX or even the MLS in this case, So when we get a referee, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough.
Yeah, I mean, the CONCACAF has to do better. The leagues have to do better on preparing their refs for this. You know what I mean? Because it's really putting a bit of an eye on here and a black eye, I think, a little bit. And speaking of black eyes, regardless of what happens on the field, the behavior of the Mexican fans, a lot. These are adults. I'm kind of tired of people like kind of holding their hands or kind of like little by little giving them pats on the back throughout the process. Ochoa, come on, guys, don't do it. We're better than this for the match and all these other things. Like these are grown adults. They don't need to be baby like that anymore. You know what I mean? They're adult to know. They should know what is okay. What's the parameters have been set already. They've been made now at this point. They're just being stubborn just to being stubborn or to prove some dumb point. It's useless, and they don't. At the point, any argument for it is dumb because you're only hindering yourself. The players are you can tell they're fed up with it. They're frustrated with it. I think if the players spoke from their hearts instead of what's being told for them to say by the federation, I think it would hit deeper to them to actually say, you know what, just cut this crap out because we're tired of it. They're done of they're fed up with the stops. They're I think annoyed of it. You know what I mean? It's useless. And these aren't kids. These aren't kids who need a lesson or something like that. They're fucking adults.
Yeah, no,
they're adults. They're adults. I mean, they're grown ass humans. They go to work.
Yeah,
They have sets of rules when they go to work that
yeah.
they're supposed to abide by. I mean, they're
There's like yeah, because there's still gonna be like the suspension was only for the Olympic games, right? I was telling you about. I think that
yeah,
was confirmed. Yes, I think I was telling you that. I think it was Olympic game. So that was the suspension that they have right now for 2 games. Supposedly is like adding everything up, but like supposedly there's still more because like the game against USA, just because when they stop the game, they have to go investigate that now. So it doesn't mean that Mexico is in the clear now. Like there still could be another suspension coming based on what happened against Trinidad and Tobago and based on what happened against US and some other games. So I don't know if Mexico's going to have fans at all in the eliminator, in the qualifier, eliminatorias, or what. But I think you're right. I think the players if they just came out and just talked without a script, like without no script and no like bull, little video that they made for them. If they just come out and be like, "Hey, look, y'all, like we get it. You don't want to change. Like whatever you grew up watching games like this. We understand that. Okay, but it's time to move on. I think if they just came out and said it like that and just been more like from the heart, like you said, like, hey, look, we want to play. We want you guys to come watch us play, and they're gonna stop you from coming. We're gonna lose points if you don't just stop. So we got to come up with something else to yell. And I think that's the only way to stop it is like coming up with something else to yell. That's it, Ivan. Like because I still think it's a cool thing, like what they do, like when the goalie's gonna kick it off. But it's like just don't yell that. You know what I mean? Just change it up, do something else. Get behind it. There's a couple things that always happen in Mexico games, and I think people just go for the party, and I understand that's what they go for. And one of them is like Cielito Lindo, right? A minute 30, right? And a minute 75. Okay, cool. We got that. Then just come up with another grito. So when there is a goal kick, because that is like not what they say is cool, but what that whole moment was cool because it's like, okay, they're doing a goal kick and all the fans get all rowdy about it. So just change what you're saying, and that's it. And that's it. And I think the problem will be solved.
Just say pendejo.
Just say another. Hey. Or like, you know what I mean? I would say like burro, like, something where it's like, it sounds like it, but it's not, it's still kind of like offensive. Or they were trying to do like the fua. Remember before? Fua. Remember like America was doing that before. Like do something close to that. I really liked it in Russia when they did it and they started singing Luis Miguel instead. I don't know, have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Like, that was cool. So something else. Just change it up. That's it. Just change it. That's it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's not that hard, but yeah, people just want to be stubborn just to be stubborn, and it's gonna affect them. It's affecting everybody, and it's just kind of like, you kind of get fed up with it because at the end of the day, these people are adults. Who are you proving to by doing this? Like you're giving people the money to go do this. You know what I mean? You're giving them the money, which is what they want. They want you to pay for the ticket, which is expensive to begin with. And you're just going to go and do something they told you not to do already just to prove a point. Well, they already got your money, so they don't care what happens to you after that.
Yeah. At this point, now that like it's already been like sanctioned, it's already been said, like people have to just go with it now. Okay, man, we don't like it. They could be like it, they could be for it or against it, but just be like, look, you know what, we can't do it no more. Let's just change it up. And I remember we do it. I'm sorry, I know we did we did a finta. Like one time we went to Mexico, USA in Azteca, and we were being interviewed by I think Univision, but I don't know what city it was from, Univision. But they were interviewing us, and so we just started going, right, all of us. And the reporter was tripping out because she's like, these guys are not going to do this on TV. And we go, and then we go, Mexico, and we just like totally just got her. And I thought, like, I think we could just do that, like just kind of do the fake, and then don't say anything and just go with something else. Just do the fake, la finta. You know what I mean?
Well, and then to also to racially abuse players from Trinidad because they heard another one. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I didn't see that, and I believe it. That's not cool. Like that's something that I take pride that, like, hey man, like my people, we can't do that. Like not our people, man. We're not doing that. So don't do that. Like we did not lose because they are dirty players. We did not lose because they did anything. We can't say anything to offend them. That's not how we should be. You know what I mean? That's not cool. Number one. First of all, because of the color of my skin, right? So I'm not a white person. It doesn't matter where I go, I'm not white. So, who are we to talk to people like that based on what they look like? No, that's not who we are. So that's number one, and in taking out your frustration, because I don't know what the frustration is. Like, okay, we tied a game 0-0. I get it. You paid $200. And trust me, I've been there, man. I've spent hundreds of dollars, not hundreds of dollars, gone to Phoenix, gone to La Ciudad de Mexico, gone to other countries to watch my selección tie 0-0. Going to Vegas, which is coming up soon. Gone to tie 0-0, bro, against Guatemala in Copa Oro. I was there 2015 with Piojo. And I was like, okay, bro, what is going on here? And yeah, you do leave frustrated because you go in with these expectations of winning 8-0, you know, or 5-0. And so I'm not trying to justify their behaviors. I do know. And in Funes Mori, I thought he kind of had something right there when he said, like, look, these referees are not, you know, they're not up to the level of this. So if the game gets out of hand, that's on him. The fans are frustrated. They shouldn't yell what they're yelling, but the fans can see what the heck is going on. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Don't be, like we gotta do better. No more homophobic chants. Stop. Can't be saying racist stuff either. You know, and
how are we gonna say racist things? How are we gonna do that to people of color when like most of our nation is of color? Okay, when the first president in North American like history was of Afro, you know, descent. If you know a Mexican president was Afro descent, like you know. Who are we to do that? Like that's not in my DNA. I know it's not in yours, and it shouldn't be in no, it shouldn't. No.
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
Yeah. And quickly, I almost paid a lot of money to watch Mexico a couple of weeks ago in Los Angeles. I looked at it. I got permission to go earlier that morning, and I looked at the tickets, and then I said, you know what? It's in the LA Coliseum. If you've never been to the LA Coliseum,
I've been there.
That is a very warm stadium to be in, if you know it, because the sun shines right on it.
No, yeah, there's no shade.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like,
and then you're gonna go. Are you gonna pay a couple $100 to eat mole? I mean, we talked about this. Like that right there was mole right there. I mean, my whole like thing with Copa Oro at least is like, hey, it's an official game. Like the guys are gonna go all out. That was my whole like. And I am the only guy. I am the only friend in my friends group that like watches Copa Oro, right? And I tell them, look, they're official games to me. Like I'd rather watch that than Mexico contra, you know, China. Iceland and Charlotte. You know what I mean?
I did Mexico versus China in Seattle on a Wednesday night when I was in high school.
Versus China?
Yeah. Yeah.
The ones in Seattle I never liked. I never like the opponents they took to Seattle. Like there's like certain places they take the opponents. I'm like, who's that?
They did
Ecuador a couple times, right?
They did Ecuador, and I think they had I don't know if they had a Gold Cup game there or they had one right before, but yeah, they might have done a Gold Cup game there. But yeah, I was the one against Nigeria the other day. I said, you know what? To drive all the way to the middle of LA, right?
Traffic.
Figueroa
Street, South Figueroa Street.
Yeah, try to get onto the USC campus. It was luckily cooler heads prevailed, so I did not do that. But yeah,
people go to have a good time though. So
they do.
Like people keep saying like, "Oh, I'm not gonna go anymore." Like, no, you are. Like,
no,
people are because when it comes to their city, it's like the Harlem Globetrotters, right? They're in town. You're gonna go. Like you're gonna go to the game. You're gonna go see your team play. It is an opportunity for some people to watch a game they've never been able to go watch. Yeah. You know, it is kind of an all-star game. You get to see some of your Liga MX all-stars that you like, you know, people you watch on TV. So you are going to go. I think you start making choices when you get to start traveling. Like, am I going to travel for that one? No, probably not.
If it was in SoFi, I probably would have gone.
Okay. Yeah, because you go for the experience. See, I'm only going to Copa Oro final in Vegas because it's a new stadium.
Yeah, that stadium looks gorgeous.
Right. If it was like Sam Boyd Stadium they used to have before, because I've gone, you know, or whatever, or they're trying to go somewhere else, like, you know, let's just say it was some random, like if it was Phoenix, right, which I've already been several times, I probably wouldn't gone. But the fact that it's a new stadium, it's like, you know what, I could check that one off my bucket list that I went to the Raiders stadium, you know, so that's what I'm doing it for.
It's a gorgeous stadium too, you know what I mean, brand new and everything.
And it's Vegas, baby, so at least out of that, I'll get a weekend in Vegas. So
tell me about it. Like when I think about travel, you know, I think about I do a lot of layovers down in San Francisco when I go visit family back in Oregon, and I'm just like, man, this airport could be better. But in reality, I think I'm just thinking about wanting to be in the Vegas airport, have my layover there. I think that's what subconsciously I'm thinking. So I'm like, I'm judging these airports, and I'm just like, I really just wish I was in the Vegas airport. I think
it's got to be a destination. I think Copa Oro is going to probably, I guarantee you, probably go back there again. I mean, it's going to be either LA or Vegas, but can you really look at least with Vegas, like you have more to it. Like, yeah, you go to LA, it's a big city, but like people are all spread out. Vegas, it's all like right here. So it's a party. Yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, this one's going to be a little like died down a little bit, but Mexico USA in the final in Vegas, I mean, the atmosphere is going to be dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, and yeah, I think COVID restrictions probably when the time the tournament came out kind of made no games in LA happen. So
That's what. Yeah, no, that's definitely why there's nothing in California because that's why I've been to Mexico, Nicaragua, in Oakland. You know what I mean? I'll go to some crazy Copa Oro games. So
yeah. All
I'm a
right,
Copa
well,
Oro
that's gonna
veteran.
wrap up our Mexican part about Gold Cup, but
Yeah,
we're gonna just head right into the rest of the tournament because we've had all the games played already.
let's do it.
For the first, everyone's already played a round of games.
Yep.
It's not just Mexico. You have in group. We quickly talked Group A with El Salvador being Guatemala. Group B, Canada and U.S. both getting results. I mean, Jamaica and Costa Rica both getting results, and Honduras winning, and Qatar, the kind of wild card, tying Panama quickly. What are you thinking so far of the first round of games?
Well,
You love the Gold Cup.
I am the Gold Cup veteran. I'm bro. I'm hitting on the head. I mean, U.S. won, and I am going to be very critical of the United States national team. And I don't want this to come out in 20 years when my son's playing for the U.S. national team, and they're going to be like, "Oh, your dad used to hate on them." No, I'm gonna be very critical because I want the U.S. national team to be better, and I know it can be better. And so, like winning 1-0, like if you watch the game, they got outplayed, bro. Like they scored in the first 5 minutes. If they don't score that goal, Haiti wins the game. I'm telling you right now, Haiti was on them, and Haiti showed some class, man. They had some dudes that were pretty good. I think this Haiti team is going to go to the semifinal, bro. I really do think so. They can. So
it shows you how fickle the sport is, right? Because Mexico tied 0-0. USA could have easily tied this game as well, and then they'd have a lot of the same questions that Mexico's having right now, only based off because if that goal doesn't go in, they're kind of in the similar spot that Mexico's in right now.
Right, and they didn't show a lot. They didn't show no fight, bro. Like the U.S. national team showed no fight. I watched the entire game. They showed no fight. At least with the Mexico game, it's like, okay, it's one of those games. I'm telling you, it's this typical Mexico game. Like either you're gonna win by 3 or you're gonna tie 0-0 because you're just going at it all day. And you know Trinidad Tobago was gonna park the bus. You know what I mean? But you're gonna see Trinidad Tobago against El Salvador and Guatemala. They're gonna unleash, bro. They're just gonna play. They're gonna open up the field and just run, and they're gonna outrun both of those teams. So I think it's gonna be those two. But no, in Group B, Canada, man, they are not where I think they should be. I know they won by whatever, but like, dude, the Canadian team is they're just trying to figure it out, man. And hopefully they'll figure it out by the next World Cup cycle because this is not it. I'm sorry. I'm not impressed.
Yeah, they did lose their best player right before the tournament, Alfonso Davis out, which I think, for a team like Canada where they don't have a lot of big pieces, when they lose a big one like that, I think as a staff and as a team, you're going, oh crap, you know what I mean? It takes a little bit. I do, but they do not look as competitive as I thought they would be. So, I think, if Haiti, because they did have a COVID outbreak on the team, if they can overcome that, I think they can put themselves and give themselves a good position against Canada.
Haiti could be kind of that, dude. And that's going to be the game right there. If Haiti could be kind of that, Haiti's in, dude. I'm telling you right now. Haiti could be,
Well, especially because Canada is going to put all their focus on the U.S. game. You know what I mean? That's going to be the one for them where they're like, hey, this is another opportunity for us to play a team that we don't like, that we have a history with, kind of give them an opportunity for no rivalry match where Haiti it sets themselves up for Haiti to get a result and kind of almost like a trap game for Canada in a way against Haiti. Because, Haiti did show another team that kind of qualified the way Trinidad did in the last tournament. It kind of gives them this opportunity to show that they have something, they're growing something. If they can get past this COVID outbreak and see how serious it is, you're right. They have an opportunity to kind of give a run. They're not out of it yet. Absolutely not.
That's going to be a tight group, though. Like you said, you just named 3 candidates right there. Canada, USA, Haiti. We don't know the 2 they're going to go on. We don't know. It's going to be close. Those 3 are going to be fighting for it, which I don't think in Group A. I'm telling you, man, I don't see. I mean, I don't see Mexico not making it. So I think that spot's already taken. But let's go to Group C real quick, if you don't mind. Group C. I mean, Costa Rica just showing that they're Costa Rica. They're better. I mean, they have more experience. They have players that play in top, some of the top leagues. So Costa Rica's in first. They're nice, man. Jamaica's nice. And I think Jamaica's better than Trinidad Tobago. I think they're better than, I don't know, they could be better than Haiti too. So Jamaica's in the qualifiers, right? They're in the top. They're in the final 8.
I mean, I think I had them pick them to be one of the teams to at least, if not make the World Cup, make the playoff for the World Cup. So I'm gonna keep riding.
They're gonna play New Zealand. They're gonna play New Zealand.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep riding. I'm gonna keep riding Jamaica. Then they got the 2-0 result, took care of it early against Guadalupe, and so I think the Costa Rica Jamaica game is gonna be a really good one.
Yeah,
because I still think Jamaica's on the up while Costa Rica's a little bit on the down. Costa Rica took care of the opponent they're supposed to. They both play, that's the last game of the group. So it's going to be, I expect both of them to get the next 3 points and have this battle out for it.
The first spot. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited I think I saw enough from the Jamaican team. And, they're working a little bit of a program. Their coach has been there for a minute. They're really trying to make a focus in building this program up. So I think, I'm confident that I'm happy that I put my stock in Jamaica right now. And it's more just like watching that stock grow a little bit, little by little. So right now I'm happy.
Yeah, they're cool. Jamaica look good. I was shocked by their level and Haiti's level for sure. Those two, I was like, whoa. And then Group D, bro, Qatar's the king, man. They're the kings of CONCACAF, man.
Hey, man, what a game!
Qatar the kings, man. I'm telling you right now, man.
No, they haven't paid them up, put on a show.
Yeah, and it's funny because I want to ask you what you think. When there's a lot of goals, does that really mean it's a good game, or does that really bad defending?
When there's a lot of goals, that means it can be an exciting game. Doesn't mean it was a good game. You know what I mean? Because
good. If you're a coach, right, and you tied 3-3, you're probably like pissed, like, bro, why are we giving up 3 goals? Like, I get we scored 3, but come on. So I don't know. It doesn't mean it's exciting to watch.
Exciting
to watch. Yeah.
Exciting and good are 2 very different things. You know what I mean? Like, that 3-3 Spain-Croatia game was exciting. But the Belgium-Italy 1-0 game was good.
It was good.
That was a much better game. You know what I mean? But so
yeah, I can see that. So I think attacking is obviously, offensive play is something we want to see. Especially United States. If you're a casual fan, you want to see goals, right? You don't care who's winning. But yeah, that Qatar Panama game was opened up, man. They were scoring every minute.
What they were going to bring, and they brought it the first game, and both of us completely forgot that they're the defending Asian champions.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I forgot about that too. 2019, they won the Asian Cup. So they're not. They're not anybody. They're not nobody. You know what I mean?
I told my friend, look at Group D, right? So Honduras, Panama, Qatar, y Grenada. Qatar has the best league out of those 4. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Qatar could have the best, probably the 5th best league in this whole Copa, maybe 4th best league. If you really want to say they're higher than Costa Rica league, maybe, right? So they could have the 3rd best league in this whole cup. So I know the leagues, they make a big difference when you have some homegrown players and some guys that play in other places. And Qatar has what's his last name, Ali, he scored in 3 copas, bro. He scored in the Asia Cup, he scored in Copa America last time, and then he scored in Copa Oro now. So no other player is going to be able to replicate that. No one's going to be able to score goals in those 3 copas.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing about this, because I think when Qatar was first told that they were going to coast, I think everybody kind of made this pretty nasty assumption that they were just going to nationalize a lot of players, and it was kind of going to be like Brazilian Qatar team or something like that. You know what I mean? But they've kind of, without anybody noticing, kind of have kind of put this plan in place for them to host, where they've gotten. A lot of guys on the roster play for Al Sadd, the best team in Qatar. The one, I believe that was the one that
Hector Moreno.
Yeah, and was that the team? No, I was thinking about the one where the Xavi host was the coach for.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think that's him. But then I think Chucho Benitez, rest in peace. I think he played with them too. I think.
Xavi is the manager. Yeah, Xavi is the manager.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're a star-studded team. Yeah, they got money, man. They got oil money.
Yeah. And so there's a program they at least have had, and it's showing that they're putting this kind of program in place and have set this plan in place over the last couple of years, both domestically in their league and on their national team, where they played they were set to play the Copa America, and then they weren't able to participate because of COVID. This one that just occurred. They got themselves in the Gold Cup. They won an Asian Cup title now. So they are building something, and you're seeing it now. So, and playing these competitive matches, and I think we were a little bit ignorant to that. I can admit I was a little bit. I completely forgot about their win here in the Asian Cup. But you're seeing that this team isn't just anything. They or nobody. You know what I mean? It looks like it's an actual like plan.
No, they're cool, man. They're gonna get out of that group too. No, actually, I want to take that back. I don't know. Oh, we'll see how Panama does. Right, they're gonna have to beat Honduras, but I think it could be Honduras and Qatar getting out of that group now because Panama didn't get that result, and Panama's not gonna beat on. I don't know if they beat Honduras really, so they're gonna be out. So one thing, okay, I'm all for it because it does bring like something kind of a new spice to the Copa, but I'm also like, bro, there are other teams that didn't get to be in the cup that we have. I know they're smaller nations. I get they're really tiny and they might be irrelevant in the World Cup stage. But if you're going to have 16 teams, 15 of them, why couldn't you just have 16? Like, I know there's money behind it. I understand, you saw Qatar Airways or all over the sponsorships. I get it. But I think we should somewhat be like, you know what? There's another island that could probably benefit for being in the Copa. That's just me. I don't know. So I'm like 50-50 on it. Like,
You're right, but if this tournament is going to be played every 2 years, if there's like a wild card, if there's like a team we invite like once every 4 years, I'm down with it. Especially if it's going to be like a team like Qatar where they're taking it seriously in this nature, where they have a reason to play in it because they're not having World Cup qualifier games or anything like that, where they're building for something to host the World Cup. So if they want to do something like that, like every 4 years where they invite somebody, I'm cool with that. And especially if it's like a team like Qatar where they're building for something like that. You know what I mean? When they're
where's the invite? So how come, they're stopping the invites for Mexico to go play in other Copas?
I don't know, because no one's bringing in the Qatar money the way Qatar's bringing that money.
I get it. No, but what I'm saying is like when Copa America, the whole issue was that Copa Oro was like, look, you can't send your A team down there and give us your B team.
If we're gonna stop, I mean, hypocrisy is hypocrisy. Yeah, am I saying is it right? No.
Okay. No, I'm just saying like if we're gonna open the door, then if Mexico gets the invite to go to Copa America, then let them go.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. I mean, it'd be great if Mexico if they're gonna do this tournament every 2 years, let one of the years let them take their A team.
Right, and they just let the U.S. team look it. They and I'm gonna say that I think they let the U.S. team bring whoever they wanted. But I know there was a conversation with Mexico, like, hey man, you're gonna have to bring some names. I know that's in the contract somewhere. Like, there's no way they just say take whoever you want. I know the Olympics were going on, and the team, we could call it, that's probably the team that could have gone to Copa Oro. But I feel like there's probably like some kind of like, hey man, you got to bring some names. You got to bring some names because we have these stadiums that hold 80,000 people. We need them, people to come. So I don't know. I just feel like you're gonna be that lenient with everyone else. I mean, it's like kind of like I don't know. It's just like this weird. CONCACAF has like this weird relationship with Mexico. They need them, yet they expect so much from them. I don't know. It's weird.
Hypocrisy, baby. Hypocrisy in soccer. And money. You gotta love it.
Real quick before you finish. I know I called my uncle and he was like, the Olympic team, the Mexico Olympic team would have beat Trinidad and Tobago. So how do you feel about that? Real quick. Do you think that team is, if you brought that whole team, don't take anyone off of it. If they came, would they do better or would they show better in this Copa Oro?
I mean, maybe, but I mean, like we talked about, this game, if they play this game 5 times, Mexico's winning this game 4 of those times. You know what I mean? It's just It's not one game. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? Speaking about Olympics, kicks off next week, so we'll get into that next week because this, it starts off the 22nd. On the West Coast on Thursday at 1 a.m. So so we'll get on that next week when our show.
I'm debating to wake up and watch those. I'm debating to wake up and watch those games. So we'll see.
Shoot, I am. But
I'll watch the Mexico Francia. Yeah. Let me see what they give me in that game first.
I got you. All right. So that's gonna be that's our Gold Cup wrap right there. You see our feelings after the first matches. You saw our feelings for Mexico. We're gonna come back and then we're gonna talk about the 2 finals over the weekend.
There you go.
Cool. Welcome back to Football Theory. And Guti, we had 2 finals over the weekend. Euro finals. Italy beats England in PKs. Argentina beats Brazil 1-0 in normal time. Where do you want to start? You want to start across the border or you want to start down south?
Let's start where football started, right? Let's start in England. So I felt bad for England fans. It was coming home. It was at home, but it wasn't coming home. But yeah, man, Italy team just got better and better and better. And I know people kind of made the, oh, they played terrible against Spain. It's like, well, one game though, like they still advance, right? So we talked about it before. If you play bad and still advance, you're supposed to be there. So Italy, man, dude, after England, it's kind of like the U.S. IT game. I'm not going to compare it in that level, but if England doesn't score right there, I don't see them scoring at all. Like Italy had the ball the entire time. It seemed like they had the ball the entire time. They had more idea. They were possessing like crazy, and it wasn't like those old school Italy that just kind of waited back on you. It was like a more balanced Italy. You know what I mean? And Mancini got them, man. He got them all wrapped in, and Cellini was a beast, and they were just killing it, man. So yeah, I think they won. They're supposed to.
Yeah, and quickly to the Spain game, I don't think they played bad. They played defensively. They got it taken to them, which most teams don't have the ability or the infrastructure like Spain does to do. But that means they can win in different ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's very important in at that level. And I think as much as you want to score early, it almost like hindered England that they scored that early, because then they were almost fearful to open up and try to go for the second one. And little by little, Italy kind of did put their game on it. And I think the English players have done a fantastic job this tournament. The coach has done a fantastic job this tournament. Southgate, 3 years ago, they were in the World Cup semifinals. This year, they lost to Euro finals and PKs. But I think Southgate was really outcoached by Mancini. I think Mancini knew the adjustments to make when he needed to with the subs. I thought Southgate took a little bit long with them.
Yeah.
I think there was the goal that came from Italy was a goal where it was a scrap where they won the ball 3 times in a row. They won the first header, they won the rebound, and they got the third one. You know what I mean? They were all kind of
just going to the ball,
battles. There was this continuing battle, and I think that's shows a lot about the mentality this team had throughout the whole tournament. They seemed like such a united front, and they won in so many different ways. They kind of got to build up and start with the tournament with a 3-0 win against Turkey. And when people doubted them because they weren't playing against good quality opponents, they showed it against Belgium. They showed that they can win against Spain. And then they showed that they could also come back and take it to a team like in England. And, it's well-deserved. I think if England would have won, it wouldn't have been not deserved either. But I thought Mancini was better at the end of managing his team than Southgate was, especially when it comes to kind of the PK takers and the PK substitutes. I thought the 2 subs very late was a little weird, and then having Saka, who's 19, to be your 5th shooter is a little odd too.
There's like so many pieces with that. One, yeah, I think the subs are really late because you're bringing in guys that are, very fast, very athletic, very skillful. You put those guys in with way more time so they could do some damage, right? You don't put them in at the end. And then when you subbing guys just to kick PKs, it's usually like a veteran, it's usually a veteran who probably doesn't have legs to play a full game. And you put him in and go, hey man, we're probably gonna go to PKs. I need you to put this away from me. So like that, all the subs just didn't make sense. All of them, as far as like when he did it and then how he did it. And then like, the fact that Saka, he missed the last one, like, I'm with you on the fact that, yeah, like, okay, he probably shouldn't have gone 5th, but like I think people are kind of overreacting. Like, oh, he's 19. It's like, okay, I get it, but he's also on the England national team and he's a professional soccer player. Like, I understand the age is there, and they're like, oh, how can these old guys not take it? It's like, but what if he would have made it? Then we're talking about a 19-year-old making a PK. So like, you can't have it both ways. Like I would love for Mexico to throw a 19-year-old in there to shoot a PK. Like, goodness sakes, can we have a 19-year-old play? So I'm not really gonna like criticize the fact that he shot 5th. I think it's just the fact that like, he missed, and so don't forget 2 other guys missed too. So it just the subs didn't make sense because when you did them, they didn't. The type of players that are coming in, why are you gonna put them in so late? They're not gonna have any time to do any damage. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and I think huge shout out has to go out to Donnarumma, who Italy out here just. They go from one generational talent of a goalkeeper, and it looks like they're just going right into the next because Donnarumma is a beast. You know what I mean? Like, he gives me so much.
The walk off, no celebration. Like, come on, bro.
Man, he gives me a lot of he reminds me a lot of Manuel Neuer, where his athleticism and his size are just this like ridiculous combination. Where he's so intimidating, so big, but he's so athletic, and he makes hard saves look so simple because of just how quick and how big he is.
Mhm.
And man, he's gonna be a problem for the next 10 years, 15 years in the back for Italy.
No, he's nice. He just signed with PSG today, so or yesterday, whatever it was. So for free, I think it was a free transfer too. So
Yes, it was.
yeah, he's dope.
Yeah. So I think Italy, great bouncing off, not making the World Cup 3 years ago. They like Mancini's done a fantastic job, kind of reforming and rebranding this national team and getting them all to buy in, and it's great for them moving forward. I think Italy. I mean, I think for England, it was super disappointing the loss, but for this collective group, I think if you're an English fan, like you make the World Cup semifinals 3 years ago, and you make this finals now, there's still optimism, and you have it, and they can keep going. And you should, and yeah, it sucks that you lost, but what you see here, I think, is something that you can be excited about in a year and a half from now too. And especially, yeah, it's just and they look like fantastic people, you know what I mean, which I think kind of gets lost in this. And we talked about the racism that the Trinidad players kind of got. Man, we see the racism that these players received right after, and all this bull that came after the defeat. You know, it leaves such a sour taste in your mouth, because you kind of just see how the way kind of these athletes can kind of just be used as propaganda by, whether it's political figures who crap on them for taking knees before the tournament starts, and then jump on board when they see that they're building momentum to a finals, to fans who only want to cheer for them when they win. But I mean, which breaks my heart. But to see this collective group of players who seemed like so generally nice, and Joe saying like Joe, and just so caring, it's like I feel bad for them.
Yeah, when I saw that, and I'm like sitting there, like, okay, England, bro, like, how do you all of a sudden show solidarity during the Black Lives Matter like protest? After George Floyd's murder, um, the EPL was doing it, right? Everybody, Black Lives Matter, England, we're supporting from over here, and then you turn around, and this is what I go back to, like, everybody knows what to say to offend someone. Like, how do you blame anything on your own players? Like, they're on your team, bro, and not just on your soccer team, but they live in your country, and so like, and they're from your country. So I'm totally confused as to what you want. You know what I mean? Like, what is it that you want, bro? Like, it, I mean, we all know the mentality these people have is ridiculous, and we know they're feeding into hundreds of thousands of years of racism. But it's like, bro, um, how it's so hypocritical, right? Like, you on Sundays or Saturdays, you enjoy them winning for your team, or if they would have won, oh, look at, and all of a sudden, boom, and Lukaku had to deal with it too. He's dealt with it in Belgium too, right? Like, he says that when he loses, all of a sudden he's Belgium born Congolese or whatever it may be, right? But when he wins, he's Belgium. He's Belgian. So it's like, it's disgusting, and that's why I said I don't want the Mexican national team, our fans, to even fall into that trap. Like, it can't be us, because you can't have short memory and forget that Giovanni Dos Santos played for us, and the fact that Jonathan Dos Santos is black. He's of black. He's half Brazilian. And so what are you? What I mean? What are we doing here? He's on the field.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's on your team, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just kind of shows the much like deeper layers of how this goes, and you see it here, you see it, you see United States, you see it in England, and it just kind of shows the way why you can't separate sports and politics either. It kind of shows why you can't when these things happen. So shout out to Italy, England, condolences to the players, but I think they definitely have something to look forward to in a year and a half from now in Qatar with what they're building. And now in South America, you called it, Messi, champion, lifted 1-0. Argentina finally win their first international title in 25 years.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, they beat Mexico in 1993 in the final. So that's the last time they won with Maradona. So Maradona was OG, going in towards the end of his career, Batigol, so yeah, I was 5 years old last time Argentina won. So, hey, congratulations to them, for doing that. I do think the Brazil team was better. I said that before. The Brazil team was more stacked. They played better the entire time, but Argentina, I said, was going to win the game. Like they were going to manage the game, and Messi was not going to lose that game. I said that, and I called it. So
Yeah, and it's really it's nice to see, because so many times I think Argentina has let down Messi, where Messi has been the best player, and so many times he's kind of been let down by other players on the team or others, or in these moments in these situations where the tide can
Higuain,
turn.
Higuain.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
And for them to not bail him out, but for them to help him lead this one, I think is fantastic. And it just kind of shows the way the sport is, you know what I mean? Where a man can do so much for you. And then there's an opportunity for you to help them, you can do it. And they did. And you just saw how much it meant to him, how much it meant for them to see him win it. And it's just fantastic. Like, it's just such a warm feeling for Messi to win that title.
Yeah, it just is weight off his back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a weight off his back. You got to see a couple things, and like you just said it, you hit it on the head. He carried that team for a long time. Like today, yeah, he is Messi and he's the veteran and he has like this crazy career and he is one of the best players still, but he's not carrying the team like he did before. Before, he literally carried the team and the guys would let him down. Like you said, like, okay, I got you, man. I'll pass it off to you. You score, we win the World Cup. Oh, never mind, you missed. So like one-on-ones or whatever. So like, yeah, I know he missed the PK too against Chile before, but like I said, it's a team effort. But he definitely has carried the team to the point where like it seemed like, oh, you feel bad for him. You feel bad for him. You feel bad for him. He even quit one time, right? He's like, I'm done. And now he finally got to do it. And he won. It's off his back. He's got one more World Cup left. It'll be the end of end of his run and end of Cristiano's run for sure. This next summer. Next fall. Next fall.
Winter, yeah.
Winter, fall, winter, yeah.
Yeah. Winter, fall, yeah. So no, you're right. It's good because you just want, because he's done so much for the game in general. So for him to finally get it, just answers a lot of questions for people who felt that he needed to win it. It wasn't. For me personally, didn't need him to win something to validate anything in his career with Argentina.
Yeah.
But for those who felt like he did, well, he got it now, and that's going to it'll be interesting to see how Argentina plays the World Cup without that pressure now, also of needing this. And like you said too, Brazil. Unfortunately, they didn't win, but they've showed a lot this summer. They have showed so much. I still think, they're the best team in the. I think they're still the best team in the world coming out of this summer with what they've shown. 6 out of 6 so far in World Cup qualifying. A finals here. This team is stacked. So if you're Brazil, yeah, you take the loss and it sucks. You're only 2 years removed from winning it yourself. And I think for Brazil, it's just going to be like a little pebble in the road because I'm excited to see what they do moving forward. Like I just said, I think coming out of this summer, they've been the best team so far in the world.
Yeah, you put them in Euros and they're in the final.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think you put Argentina in Euros, they're not in the final. So that's what I said. I think Argentina just outplayed them that day, got the goal, won. But Brazil is I think, like you said, the most well-balanced team, player per player. And they, man, I don't know. I would like to see them today, like not in a week or like not next year, but I like to see them today against Italy. Like let's just see this real quick. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
it would be a really good game. It'd be crazy.
Absolutely. But it's so funny because I think a lot of times because now the sport is all year round and it's every day. There's always something. And I think people just kind of look for what's the negative. I think for a lot of these teams coming out of the summer, there's been a lot of positives. A lot of positives coming out. Brazil, Argentina, England, Italy, Spain, Denmark. A lot of these nations got a lot of things that I think when the summer started, there were a lot of question marks, and now they kind of positive. I mean, yeah, there's some teams that are going to have some questions to be answered moving into qualifying as qualifying goes on, like Germany, the Dutch as well. But for the most part, I think a lot of these countries can say, you know what, we got out of this. There's some things we need to change. There's some things, but I think there's a lot of positives moving forward that it's not really changing. It's more like, let's just keep it going. And how can we tweak it a little bit, but more improve and then let the momentum go instead of now we got to start from scratch.
I agree.
Cool. And yeah, that leads us to our 50-50. Would you like to go first?
Yeah, man, 50-50 is what I dream about all week long. The 50-50, my first one I'm gonna throw at you is they want to have this game, Italia, Argentina. They want to do it in Napoli. Thoughts?
Um, it's a yes, but it's a yes with an asterisk because it's so stupid. Because they abolished the Confederations Cup, which is the whole idea and concept of it. You know, the idea if it's just a one-off, one time, and they're gonna do it to like honor Maradona and everything, perfect. That sounds good. But if they do, but this cannot be a regular thing, or I'm just like today, all of Mexican Twitter was just saying, "Oh, this sounds familiar," and everybody made the same Confederations Cup joke. So I think for a one-off, fine, but this cannot be a regular thing because you know what? I doubt a lot of these teams from England or from Europe want to go down to South America and play friendly. So I just don't see this being a sustainable thing. But for a one-off, I think they'll do it.
Go make them play. Go make England play in the in La Bombonera.
Yeah.
No, no, yeah. I mean, I'm with you. If it's a one-off, like, hey, it's because of Maradona. He played in Napoli. He has an Italian tie with that. You know, they love him there. They idolize him there. Let's do this little game as memory. You know, Messi's there. Okay, then yes, then that's fine. But let's not start this little Super League thing because we've already went through that and they didn't like that. So let's not do that again. This whole idea of like this is it right here because like I just said before, if we put Brazil to go play Italy, they're probably gonna do better than Argentina will. So let's not start doing these little things where we're just like, oh, this team went this, everyone else doesn't matter. It's like, no, that's why we have a World Cup. Like, let's just wait, So yes, if it's a one-off tribute to Maradona, then I'm all for it and I'll watch it. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, my 50-50 is pay cuts. Messi, speaking of Messi, has agreed to sign with Barcelona and taking a 50% reduction in his salary. So he's taking a pay cut. What are your thoughts?
Well, if that's what he wants to do to stay there, then he has to do it. So I guess I'm gonna go play on. I mean, at the point of his career, first of all, he costs way too much money. I don't know how much it is. Can you tell me? Was it like 500 million? I don't know what it would cost.
What his salary?
Yeah, I don't know what his salary is. Like 30 million a year or something like that.
His salary, I think, was 600 million euros for 4 years was his salary.
Okay.
What he brought in revenue for the club was more.
Yeah. No, and I agree. I mean, his image is his image.
Yeah.
So, like, I can never hate on somebody for getting to that point because I wish that was me, right? If I were one day I was there. So, okay. I guess I'm gonna say play on. You could take the pay cut to stay at the team you want to stay at. If I'm, because he probably doesn't want to cheapen the brand, and I think he would cheapen the brand if he goes to a PSG or goes somewhere else. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I don't think they're worthy of having the Messi name, associated with that. And he's not going to go to Real Madrid, obviously. So he needs to just finish it out there. If he has to take pay cuts, let's be real. His pay cut is more than you and I are going to make in our entire lives. So it's okay.
I think for Messi, it's good. I think for Barcelona, I think if Messi really loved Barcelona, he would not take the pay cut because he has been spoiling them for too long. Barcelona at this point is like that rich kid with a trust fund who doesn't know how to manage his money. And he just keeps spending and spending and spending.
Yeah.
And Messi's like the dad who loves them, but doesn't know how to discipline them. So he just keeps paying off the debt. And all that's going to do is for Barcelona, just going to keep freaking mismanaging their problems. So I think if Messi really loved them, he would leave and have them figure it out on their own and grow up a little bit. But he won't do that.
No.
But so,
no, it's very romantic, man.
I'm joking in a way, but you know what I mean? That's what it reminds me of.
And I get you, and I agree. I think they're obviously...
can't even sign their new players yet because they're $200 million over salary.
Yeah. No, they don't know how to manage it. They need to go back to the cantera. They need to go back to the La Masia. Messi's probably hindering the progress of the club too, though, just because it's like it's like those baseball teams, right? That sign like Albert Pujols, or they sign these big time contracts for 10 years, and it just hinders their like progress because you're always paying this one guy. He is like an OG, but he's not part of the like renovation of the club. And so I feel like, it's almost like if he left, it would do Barcelona a good in the soccer on the field, but marketing and romantically, I think I want to see him leaving Camp Nou, and that's it. Like I want him to see him, and that's it. I don't want to see him playing Argentina. I don't want to see any of that. No MLS either.
I mean, I think the argument works. It does make sense what you just said, but the fact that what he brings to the club, what his value brings to the club outweighs his salary, makes it that like he is needed so much more on the field too. Because then if he's not there and they lose all that revenue that his image
Right.
brings, now they're even more into debt because now
Yeah.
they're not having that income that
Yeah.
he brings in.
Bro,
So
they sell out their games. You think people are gonna fly from Asia or Mexico or Colombia, Argentina to go watch Barcelona? No, they
it's
want to go see
incredible.
Messi play in Barcelona. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I mean, there's so much to it, but I'm gonna just say play on, take the pay cut, stay there, and hopefully you can finish off there. I want to see him leave there because on the contrary to Cristiano, which I know he already came from two other clubs before that, it would have been cool for him to leave there, but he wasn't from Real Madrid, so it's a little bit different. It's way different.
Yeah, but I mean, oh man, shout out to mismanaging money too. Good job, Barcelona.
I don't have that kind of money to mismanage, so I
That
would
is
never make that
incredible. That
call.
is incredible. Yeah, me neither. That's incredible.
Hopefully, this podcast will get us to that point. We can mismanage the heck out of his money. So let's do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Cheers to more money to mismanage. Yes, let's do
Yeah.
it. Okay, last one, man. Oh, I got one more for you, real quick. And I had it right here, and I just totally messed up my thing. Shoot. My goodness sakes. I forgot, man. Oh, okay. You're PSG. Are you keeping Kaylor Navas in goal, or are you gonna go with your new hot signing?
I mean, you got to go with the new hot signing, right? Yeah, and you try to find a seller for Keylor Navas. I think. You know what I mean? I think that's what the signs point to. I
Yeah.
think if you're Keylor Navas, you know, is anybody else going to match your salary? If they're not going to match your salary, then you might kind of just, living in Paris ain't bad.
living anywhere as a millionaire, as a soccer player, is not bad.
Yeah. So,
Anywhere. I would live in Antarctica as a millionaire.
I mean, so if I've heard Paris is a beautiful city, so if Keylor Navas wants to keep living in Paris and fight and figure it out or whatnot, or not if they can't find a team to match his salary or whatever's on the contract, I'm staying there, man. That sounds pretty nice to me.
With it. Nice. Yeah, I think I'm with you. It's kind of like with goalies, it's kind of crazy, right? Like when you bring a goalie in who's like already a veteran World Cup guy, and then you sign a new hot goalie, like there's no way you can go into this first game and not put this Italian keeper in. You have to put him in. And not saying that, he's way better. No, Navas will win you games too, and he's not going to lose them for you. But I think there's just moments, you know what I mean? Especially with keepers like, bro, he's got the hot hand. Let's keep him in there. And, you didn't play Copa. You're hurt, right? I think he didn't go to Costa Rica because he's hurt, or maybe he chose not to go. But, I think it's time to move on. Like you said, if he's going to take the money, then stay. You can. You want to be part of that little stellar group, play little Copas here and there. Go ahead. If not, try to use your weight and get to another team in Europe. Stay there for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I think there's plenty of teams in Europe that would use somebody like him. So there's definitely a need for him. He's got the pedigree for it. He's won plenty, and yeah, he'll bring you anything you need from a reliable goalkeeper.
Agree.
Yeah, I don't have 50-50, but just a quick shout out. Sandy Stomey, the new coach of the NWSL team here in San Diego, just got signed from the female team from Manchester United. So yeah, just giving out nothing 50-50 about that. That's all yeses for me as the NWSL comes to San Diego.
Man, you just going to San Diego at the right time, right? Trying to steal the USL team. You stole our NWSL team, just so you know. And then, yeah, you're getting excited, right? You got the Loyal playing. The Padres are somewhat okay. You know what I mean? So, big shout outs to her. I there was a huge knock on Angel City, right? The LA team, because they hired a man.
Yes.
And I'm totally like for that. Like to be again, I'm sorry, I'm totally for that. Those cries, because it's like you're trying to grow this game, right? This NWSL league. And I guess we could talk about this for a second because this is a good little topic here. You look at it and you're trying to grow this. You got to let women have an opportunity, empower them to do these things, play soccer first of all professionally. You got to give an opportunity to a woman coach. You have to find one. Like there are so many coaches, coaching college or whatever. And it's like, that's kind of dumb that you do not do this here, in the WNBA. I mean, sorry, in the NWSL, because we know the WNBA also has that kind of issue. But I was going to tell you, looking at Liga MX, right, Femenil, this is like one of the only things I want to say that we've done right. as far as because they have more women coaches than the NWSL does. So I'm going to give that knock right there. Also, you know, starting from scratch, right? I know NWSL was set up differently, but starting from scratch and looking at Liga MX, what they did was like, hey, making every single team have to have a women's team, except the team that came up that year, the team that promoted. Like, that's huge, bro. Why can't the MLS do that? Why can't the MLS force their teams to make their women's team? Right? That's my first. So many layers to this, but I'm just trying to give you perspective of what I see, like how the Liga MX is actually just doing it, man. I feel like they're doing the right things in the femenil game. I know the pay is not there yet, and it's not there anywhere, but I do think the crowd is behind the Mexican teams, like because they have this nostalgia with their and they have this romanticism with their men team. Like I go for Chivas femenil, right? I don't go for them how they play or who they have. It's just automatic. Okay, I'm a Chivas fan. I go for the women's team. So just a little another knock to the NWSL. They got work to do.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. With what you a lot of points of what you said, I think it's big up for. I think San Diego said that their team in the front office, from the GM to all those people working and making decisions on what's on the roster to the coaching staff and everything, that is all going to be female. So I think that's huge. That's important. I think we can make connections from being people of color and hoping and finding these opportunities and making these connections if we're given the opportunities. And here's an example of that in the NWSL game where you kind of need that. And from there, because we talk about coaching trees in other sports all the time, you see it you talk about coaching trees in soccer as well with
El Logo Bielsa.
Yeah.
La Volpe.
To have that, you need the tree to be planted. So I think what NWSL here is doing really well, and you make a good point of the level might not be there in Mexico yet for the female game, but I think the seeds have been planted really well. You saw the national team is beginning to start a program where they, female-led coach. They're beginning to have at least the foundations of building something. And yeah, of course, when you're building something, it's not going to go perfectly straight up. There's going to be ups and downs. And there are, the highest attended games in North America for female games have been
Tigres, right?
the Liga MX female finals, where you're getting Tigres put in 60,000 people.
Dude, that's wild. That's wild. Like that's unheard of. And the fact that like Mexican women have an opportunity to play is huge because I feel like no, dude, like the path is not there in Mexico like it is here. Like girls here do get to play club ball and high school ball, and there's different outlets to play, and there's colleges. And I know a lot of the Mexican girls that play national team, play here in colleges too, and they're from here. But I just really like the progression of the Liga MX. The way they started the first year was like only Mexican born, and then they said, okay, now you can get women that are not Mexican born, but they could only they're going to represent the Mexican national team, right? So you couldn't get the ones that are dual nationals, but they choose to play for US or someone else. Like they have to play for Mexico, I'd be eligible. And they're just trying to build this little pool of players going forward. And now this year they just approved 2 international players only, and not every team's going to do that, obviously, but I know a couple of them are going to come over. I mean, the pay is probably not there, but it's probably a good opportunity to play. But I think just the progression, like it's almost like if they took the same approach with the men's game and just stopped for a year and started over, they would have better ideas of what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think for the Mexican women's national team, there's this cool opportunity or a unique opportunity where you see it in the men's section at the youth level, where you have if the opportunity is there in the United States for youth soccer to be more accessible to people of color and for them to be given more opportunities and more training to kind of go through the growth that you see where it's not just more suburban, and you can make the parallel to the men where now there's another opportunity, another funnel for you to get talent for these women here to get the training here at these youth club levels and be grown now. And here's another outlet where now you're checking, like you said, some of them come from there. But if there's more opportunity at the youth level for females of color to be given the proper training at the youth level, and for them to be pipelined like the way you see it for the women's national team, if those same opportunities are there for 10 years old, at 9 years old, for talented young people of color, for women Latinas, you're going to have you're going to have more talent too come up for both US and Mexico. But I think for Mexico, because they're kind of starting out and they're a little bit behind, a great opportunity for them to get more talent too.
Yeah, they're so light years behind, but I think they're doing it the best way possible, the most sustainable way, which is
it's not going to be overnight, and it's a
no, but it's sustainable and it's copying the European model. So it's like, hey, PSG women, Manchester women. So you're like, okay, this is the way to go. We got to fund it through the men's, right? Yeah. Okay, the WNBA did it when they started out, right? So what's going on? My question again: where is the MLS support to the women's game? Where's the MLS support?
Yeah, right. You only see, and I know living in Portland, I saw it in Portland, but not every club is like that. You know what I mean? Like, I know, because they're owned by the same ownership group, but not every team is like that. I think
but that comes on the ownership. That's not like where it's mandated. You feel me? Like, where's the mandate? Like, hey, look, San Jose Earthquakes have to have a women's team. Where are you at?
Yeah.
You're making someone start from scratch. You know how hard it is to start a pro team and have money, right? So, okay, you got all this money. You're trying to fund a team. The revenue is not going to be there because it's the women's game. The revenue is not there on TV from the sponsorship. People don't want to support it the way they've supported the men's. So you're making these owners start from like not even the zero. You're making them start way below when you could like just say, okay, you got to have a women's team. Go find an owner, maybe like a part owner just to own the women's side, but they're like partnered, where we could use the fields. You could do double headers. You could start the women's academy. You could use, this coaching staff. I don't know, man. This is my idea, but I guess I don't get paid to do that.
No, absolutely. I mean, if you think about how much it costs to start an expansion team in the MLS, if you make that $100 million less and make that go into starting the women's program, the women's team for that same thing, you're onto something. But
I'm onto a lot of things, man, but no one's giving me a chance.
Well, I think on that note, yeah, that's going to be this episode here. We got off to another topic at the very end, but that's what we love to do. So I think it was a good topic to touch on. And I think we're going to hear about it more too as we go on because, we got the Olympics for both men and women coming up too. So
right. We'll break that down. Yeah, let's start doing some coverage on the women's game. So let's definitely start with the Olympics. We'll do everything will kind of slow down. We'll do the Olympics on both men and the women.
Sounds good to me, man. I like that. All right. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram.
Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. We're in the double digits. I'm not gonna disclose that number, but we are in the double digits. We're also in the listens. We are also on the downloads in the double digits as well. So a huge shout out to everyone who's been tapping in on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening to it. But don't just listen to it. Also let us know. Just shoot us a little message, a little text message, whatever it may be. Let us know you listen to it. Review it for us, and we'll read it on the next episode. Hook us up.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Guti, appreciate you and everything you do. Love you so much. Love everybody. Hugs, kisses, love and hug your loved ones. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much.
There it is. Thank you. It's kind of like,